Hey everyone, Brandon from Brandon's Baseball Cards here. I have made it back safely from Chicago. My brother and I had a great time at the National. Met a lot of really nice people, bought some cool stuff, and the last day, we're dragging, that last day because we're just exhausted. Our legs hurt, our feet are killing us. We're sleepy, we're just drained, so we're basically running on coffee. And 3 days is enough. If anyone is curious how much time you need, 3 days is probably enough, right? Some people say 4. I would say 1 is too short a time. 3 may be pushing it in regards to length. Maybe 2 days is enough. You really have to figure out what works best for you, but 3 is enough for us. But I was determined to try to find some unopened material because the second day I hadn't really found anything. I, bought some slabs, but that day I decided I just really didn't see anything for the first several hours of the show that I wanted to buy. And in fact, a couple of the slabs that I bought the day before, I didn't really have buyer's remorse, but I wanted to get a little bit of money back to kind of, keep the show going and to, make sure that I came home with some money, even if not a lot, a little bit. And so I sold 2 slabs to Kevin Savage Cards. Not a lot, just, not a lot of money. Only got, I think, $85 for the 2 slabs, but just to replenish the coffers a little bit. And then I walked around for a while and I found a seller I had seen before that had rack packs, and its prices were reasonable. They were about market value on the rack packs. But I dug through them. He had a lot of football, early 80s, and baseball, 79 through probably 83. And I found a rack pack that I liked. It's an 82 Topps, and it has Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan's 81 highlights, fifth career no-hitter on the card on top. It's got Dave Parker, and it also has Kirk Gibson. So that's cool, and he had 50 on the sticker, as you could see, and I asked him if he could do 40, and he said, sure, and which is a very fair price. And he asked me if I was an unopened collector, and I said I was, and he asked me about his prices. Did I think his prices were fair? And I said they're very fair, and he just seemed like a really nice guy, and he seemed like he appreciated the fact that I was actually interested in unopened material. So we talked for a little bit, and he said, well, let me ask you something. He goes, do you like to open wax packs? And I said, yeah, I do from time to time. And he said, well, I've got these 82 Topps wax packs. Is this a fair price? He's got there's 2 in this container for $40. Okay, so $20 a pack. And I said, you're not far off the market there. That's pretty reasonable. 20 to 25 for a pack is probably about right. And then he said, well, let me pull these out. So he pulled this one out, and it says 40. He pulled this one out, and it says, for some reason, this one says 30. And he goes, I don't know why this one has 30 on it. He goes, tell you what, why don't you take all 4 of these for 50? So he just kind of, threw a deal out there. And I said, because he probably doesn't have that much invested in them if he's had them for a while. If he's had them before the spike in prices, he probably made very good money on these. But 4 1982 Topps wax packs for $50 is very fair. And so I just said, yeah, I'll do it. So I pulled $50 out, and we shook hands. And so I have 4 1982 Topps wax packs that I will open. Some I'm going to open on the channel. And so $50 on that, and for 40, I got this 82 rack from him with Nolan Ryan on top. So very nice seller. I really, really enjoyed talking to him. And then I walked around for a while and still didn't see a whole lot in regards to unopened. I did see some other cards I was interested in, but I didn't see a whole lot, nothing that spoke to me necessarily. And then there was a dealer, and he had a bunch of rack packs and cello packs, and I'd looked at a few of them before. He had a lot of football mostly, with a little bit of baseball sprinkled in, and some of the prices were high. And so I just kind of, stayed away, so to speak, because if prices are high on what's in the display case, prices are going to be high on other stuff, right? But I noticed that he had a big stack. Well, I think it was the first day, actually. I noticed he had a giant stack of rack packs that weren't in the display case. I walked by, and I hadn't looked at them. It was the third day, and so I just asked him. I said, "Hey, those rack packs that are behind there, can I take a look at those?" And so he pulls them out, and it's a lot of 84 Topps football with Marino showing, Elway showing. I didn't inquire about the prices on those, but then I get to these 1986 Topps football packs, which is a very desirable year given the Steve Young and Jerry Rice rookies. And I notice, I'm starting to look through, and I notice that I'm looking at the top and the back of the racks, and I notice the back card in the middle cell, and all three 86 Topps football racks that he had was blank. The card on the one of the cards in the back cell was blank, and that's an error rack. Once in a while, Topps produced racks that, for whatever reason, the cards have blank backs, right? And it's an error, right? It's not supposed to be like that. There's supposed to be information on the back of cards. Once in a while, you get these error racks. And I'm interested in racks like that because they're rare, they're hard to come by. It's kind of like the collation irregularity error racks that I collect, where there's multiples of the same card showing. Same idea, right? This is an error. It's not supposed to happen that way. It's supposed to be different cards showing, right? So I was interested, and I asked him about it, and I was kind of not hoping he didn't know that he had error racks, but I kind of wanted to feel him out to see what he knew about them. And he goes, "Oh, well, those are very rare because those are error racks because the back card, there's a blank card on the back." And I went, well, yeah, he knows what he has. And he said, "Steve said the three that I have are the only three he's ever seen." And I said, "Well, that's pretty cool, And he threw out a number, he threw out $400. He said the regular 86s would be 300. I'm asking 400 for the blank back ones because they're rarer." And so I said, "Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate it." I think his name's Frank. Is his name? He's from Long Island. Really, really nice guy. I walked around, so I took a lap or two, 10, 15 minutes with my brother and talked it over. I was like, "I think I want one of these blank back racks, but I'm not going to pay $400. I'm not doing that." But what I thought about it, and I said, "Well, maybe I can just." It's all in how you communicate to people and letting people know that you're a collector, And so I told him in our first exchange before I left to go walk around, I told him about my double racks, the fact that I collect stuff like that where there's these obscure irregularities, and he seemed really interested. And I went back and I just told him, I said, I appreciate these. These are pretty cool, and I can appreciate, the rarity of them. And the one rack that I was looking at, I just said, I'm a collector of these. I appreciate it. I could do $325 on this one. And I held it up. I said, I can do $325. And he took a minute and he said, I can tell, it's going to a good home. You're a collector, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to do it for you. And so we shook hands, and for $325, I got this 1986 Topps football pack. There's no stars showing, right? No Hall of Famers showing. But on the back, one of the cards is blank. It is an error. That is not supposed to happen, right? And again, Steve said these are very, very rare. There's not very many of these at all. And if the guy was telling the truth, which he seemed like he was a very straight shooter, the only three that were in existence this guy had, and now I have one of them. And so really, really excited to add that to the collection. I didn't even know 86 Topps football had that error. So I learned something new, and I got a rack to show for it that demonstrates this error that happened, right? But really, really cool. Happy that's my first football rack that I actually have in my collection. I've had an 81 Topps football rack before, but I bought it because the price was right, and I sold it. This one I'm going to keep because it's so rare and obscure. But really, really cool. So those are my purchases I got 2 rack packs and 4 wax packs on the last day. And that's what I got. I wasn't going to buy, anything that, unless it spoke to me or unless the price was too good to pass up. With these 82s, great price. I'm happy to open a few of these. But great show. Had a lot of fun. Learned a lot. Met a lot of really nice people. Talked unopen with some great people, and anyone that stopped me and said hello, or anyone that said, I love your channel, or, hey, I know. One guy walked up, he's like, I know who you are. I've seen your stuff, but I don't. And he walked away. And I was like, well, that's good enough for me. That's not, even that's nice. I recognize you, but I don't know who the hell you are. That's cool too. At least he's seen my channel at some point. So it was a lot of fun, had a great time. And to everyone I chatted with, it was just a pleasure, and I look forward to continuing to develop these relationships. And a lot of people, some people you just click with, and I met quite a few people in this trip that I just click with. That we just kind of click, and I get what they're about, they get what I'm about, and it's pretty cool. The people are what make it what it is, and sharing the passion is what makes it what it is. Otherwise, we're just a bunch of guys walking around, or a bunch of gals too. Quite a few, much more diverse clientele this time. Otherwise, we're just a bunch of people walking around talking to ourselves, right? It's not a hobby unless you share it with others, at least this type of hobby, right? So sharing the passion is what makes this so great. So overall, just a great show. I have nothing bad to say, like nothing critical. Yes, some prices were high. There's always going to be high prices. Some prices were low. There were lots of deals to be had. So if anybody's down on the National, or if you hear anybody being overtly negative about the National, I don't buy it for whatever that's worth. The hobby's alive and well. The community's alive and well. John Wade Boggs fan, loved getting dinner with you and your wife. That was a blast. My brother and I really had a great time. That was a wonderful bumping into you randomly. John K, the Rack Pack collector, he and I have been chatting a little bit since the National. Really good guy. Loved chatting with you and getting to know you, and look forward to continuing to talk with you. Ken from Ken's Cardboard, met him, stand-up guy. Mike Canadian Cards, stand-up guy. Mike Baseball Collector, stand-up guy. Just a fantastic group. Chuck Northside guy, met him and saw some fantastic stuff that he picked up. Just really wonderful people. And Andrew Nuff Said Cards, I've already talked about what my several kept running into him randomly. He's a great guy. Like, so many wonderful people. So that I'm going to quit rambling, and this video's been long enough. But I just wanted to close the book on the National 2021, and can't wait to do it again. 2023 is probably what it's looking like for me. So that'll probably be the next one that I attend. Hope you're all doing well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Keep collecting vintage baseball, and collect some football sometimes too.